The Johnsky is a YouTube channel run by and run for people over the age of 13. People under the age of 13 should click off of this video right now, or watch with a parent or guardian. Viewer discretion is advised.
You don't scare me!
Hello, it's freaking the name Militiaman. My name is King Prime. Welcome back to another video here on the YouTube channel. Today we're going to take a look at an older Star Wars Vintage Collection figure that has been in my backlog for a while. I'm just clearing it out. But this is a look at the Attack of the Clones Mace Windu, bringing our grand total of recent AOTC reviews to 4. Before we take a look at Mace himself, let's take a look at what he comes in. Of course, right there on the top, we have the familiar blood red logo for the Attack of the Clones, as well as a picture of Mace in the Geonosian arena about to cut off Jango Fett's head. He has a yellow nameplate for the yellow pill, as well as the counter logo down at the bottom. On the back, of course, we have the other figures that were released in the wave. Ahsoka, who I have but will not review. Anakin, who is coming. Obi-Wan, who is maybe coming. I don't actually have him. Mace, obviously. The 501st Clone, who I've reviewed. The Mandalorian Death Watch, who I've reviewed, and Fennec Shand, who I've reviewed, and not Yoda, so whatever. At the bottom, we have some legal jargon, and that's about it. I say it in every single video, my friends, but you really care about the packaging if you're a boxed or carded collector, of which I am not. I'm here to open and review toys, and that is just what I'm going to do. Freeze frame.
My lord.
Freeze frame on freeze, and here we have Mace out of the packaging. But before we take a look at him, let's take a look at what he comes with. Of course, he does have his largest accessory being his cloak here, his just Jedi robes that he wears. This is all soft goods, which is fantastic. I love to see this. I need more of these. You know, I have a few of them from my childhood collection, but I think I could use a couple more. So maybe if I find another Mace Windu at Ross for $4, I'll have to go and snag. Of course, to get Mace to wear this, just put his arms backwards and slide them into the armholes. It's kind of finicky because the fabric stretches and stuff, but once you got it right, you'll know it because you're able to pull it over his body and put his arms down. And there you have Mace wearing his cloak. I wish that there was a wire in the hood, because other than that, it just like sticks up like this and it looks goofy as hell. To have it come down like this would be really nice, or like this or something like that, but that's just a little nitpick of mine. Moving on, of course, Mace does have my favorite accessory that is included with these VC figures, being the unextended hilt, which of course is Mace Windu's lightsaber. We know this by now. Has the little bronze and the gold. They make up Mace's lightsaber design, as well as the long black handle and the little peg that's able to peg right into his belt. Right there. There's a little hole. That's the peg, and you know what you're going to do with it. Boom. Put it right there, and Mace is wearing his lightsaber. Very nice. And finally, of course, we have the funny meme.
You might get purple.
Itself, the Mace Windu lightsaber, the purple lightsaber. Which is extended, no clip, so thankfully there's no clip sticking out, which is very nice to see. And Mace can, of course, hold that as well, right, like that. So he can do some fighting of Sidious, or some decapitating of Jango Fett, and giving that Jango Fett's figure was ass. I'd be perfectly okay with that. So, moving on to Mace himself. This figure does, of course, have a very good likeness to Samuel L. Jackson as he appeared. I think his eyes might be just a little bit too small and a little bit too far apart, but you can tell who it is just by looking at it. That's perfect. Just cover up the one eye like he's Nick Fury, and it would be good, but for some reason he's looking a little bit like Sloth right now from the Goonies. Of course, has that darker brown Jedi robe than all the other Jedi, with that light cream-colored underrobe, which is nice. He has his belt, which I have ornamentation, has that hole in it, as well as a couple of pouches and some riveting detail going around. Very nice. He has a soft goods waist cape piece, which I love. I love soft goods pieces on any figure, and seeing one here is very nice. He has some cream-colored pants, which are very nice as well, and these high-need, or I think, yeah, Well, these are galoshes. Now that I look at them, I was going to say they're thigh boots or they're knee boots. No, these are galoshes. On boots like this, the come over, they go all the way up to the thigh. So he's probably, attempting to go swimming in these at some point. But I digress. Moving on to the articulation. Mace does have only a single ball joint at the neck because this is an old figure that's just been redone with the face scan technology. He does have a pretty okay range of motion at the shoulder, however, because of the way his robes are cast, it does not do a full 360 up. It goes out like that. He has a single joint at the elbow, which is pretty standard, as well as a hinge or a swivel there as well. And only a swivel at the wrist. Unfortunately, they didn't retool this to have any hinge in or down, so no saber holding hands, unfortunately, for Mace here. He does have a diaphragm joint so he can get his Jedi reps in, as well as a waist cape piece, or I guess the loincloth piece, which slides around like a motherfucker. It's really annoying. He does have only swivel hips, which is really unfortunate. So he can only kick forward and only kick back, no in and out at all. Unfortunately, Hasbro is too lazy to retool these figures. They just re-release them bog standard. He has a 90-degree bend at the knee, actually less than 90 degrees, which is very unfortunate. A swivel there as well. And a hinge down and hinge up at the foot, which is cool. Pretty standard. Unfortunately, no ankle pivot, which is now standard, then wasn't. So again, just another instance of Hasbro being lazy as shit and not releasing quality figures like they promised to. But before I slander Hasbro anymore, let's bring some other figures to compare Mace to. Freeze frame. Freeze from Unfreeze, and here is Mace Windu next to our previous Star Wars The Vintage Collection review, the Attack of the Clones Clone Trooper. Here he is next to the golden standard of action figures himself, Dark Times Darth Vader. Here he is next to a Vitruvian Hax skeleton, and here he is next to a Mandalorian of my own design. As you can see, Mace is just about the same height as all of these figures. He's a little bit shorter than the Mandalorian and a lot shorter than Vader, as he should be. But overall, he scales well, despite the fact that he is, at this point, probably a 10-year-old figure. That's it for the comparison, though. Let's move on to my final thoughts so I can tell you exactly what I think about this guy. Freeze frame.
Good job, Anakin. Now, we do grant you the rank of Master.
This is wonderful. It's fair.
Done well, Anakin.
Good job, Anakin. You're so smart, Anakin.
Man, this is the best day of my life. What? It was all just a freaking dream?
Freeze frame unfreeze. So overall, Mace Windu is just a bog standard Jedi figure. I have a dozen of these kinds of figures with no real improvement. We could definitely use a improved Mace Windu with the ball jointed hips, rocker ankles, actually articulated wrists for whatever reason they didn't decide to do it, and the dumbbell jointed neck. This figure does stand up to the age because these sort of articulated figures are iconic in the Vintage Collection and other Fanfic Order and Star Wars lines. However, just because it's a repack doesn't mean I can excuse its laziness, because Hasbro has the tools to upgrade it and they have not. Despite that, this figure looks great, as great as a plain-ass Jedi can look. He looks just like Mace, and so therefore I can say that it looks great, poses badly, and it has a fine amount of accessories for who this guy is. Nothing really needed other than maybe, Jango Fett's severed head, but Hasbro's already got one of those on the shelf. But if you like Mace Windu, or you like Star Wars Attack of the Clones, you like Revenge of the Sith, the Clone Wars, Star Wars in general, make sure you share this video with your friends, share with the Facebook groups, all that good stuff. If you like the content, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe down below. Keeps helping the channel grow, keeps helping me pump out this content. That's going to be pretty much it for this time, my friends. Thank you all so very much for watching, and as always, peace.